Hello, beautiful souls. I am Valeria Maritza at Healing Through You. I am an infinite being of light, and so are you. Today, I am so excited to bring Tabatha DeBruyn. She is a transformational breathwork master. And when I saw what she did, I was so excited to bring her to you because, as you guys may know, or you may not, breathwork was one of the very first things that I did in my own transformational healing. And is what brought me from where I was to where I am now. And I just feel that it's so powerful. So when I saw that this is what she did, this is what she teaches, and how she guides people through this, I was like, this has to be a really strong thing. So welcome, Tabitha. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to get this modality out there in the world and demystify it a little bit because, as you said, it's so powerful.
It is. And we were just talking a little bit here right before we pressed record, and I was telling Tabitha that I did a lot of breath work, 6 months. I think I missed 2 or 3 days within the 6 months, and I had such great results. And that now I have a lot of resistance. So I wanted to put that out there because Tabitha just said that's normal. I'm like, yes, of course it is. So I just wanted to talk about that also and bring that part of how we are all normal, how it's okay if you're falling off the wagon, and it's okay if you want to start over again. And maybe, just maybe, this might be your way back into getting yourself deeper into deeper healing of your own. So Tabitha, tell us a little bit about you before we go into the breath work subject, so that people who don't know you can get to know who you are.
Well, I live in Ontario, Canada, just across the Buffalo border in a beautiful little town called Niagara on the Lake.
Mm.
And I'm 52 years old. I have been married to my husband for almost 30 years. We've been together for 34. We often chuckle because there's a lot of work in those relationships to keep them fresh and new and growing. I feel we're on at least marriage number 5, just with each other,
Mm.
because of all the transformation we've done. I have 2 grown boys. They're both entrepreneurs. One is 26 and one is 23. And I started my career out as a full-time high school teacher. And I loved teaching. I loved empowering students to realize the greatness that was in them. I tried to develop a passion for learning and growing and evolving and stretching and seeing more in themselves than they ever did. And I loved it. But I also found that about 10 years into my teaching career, my salary was capped. There was nothing more I could do in the way of education that was going to allow for more finances. And I knew I was destined to live a big life. And I wanted my kids to be able to see the world. I wanted to not only contribute in my own province, I wanted to get into mission work and be able to travel and do good in the world elsewhere. But when money is tight, that was difficult. But from contrast comes clarity. And that's when I started to get into entrepreneurship, just as a side business in health and wellness. It was something I was really passionate about. And I fell in love with entrepreneurship, the
Wow.
freedom, the choice, how it grew me, and how it grew who I was and how I was showing up as a mom and as
Mm.
a wife. And it opened the lid of my life, if you will, because teaching was very much in the box.
Yeah.
And there was a desire, there's a bit of a wild woman in me, and entrepreneurship opened that door. And I built a business that was like a multi-million dollar business internationally alongside teaching. But then I had choice, and I left the classroom to pursue further education and travel with my boys and do mission work. So I've been instrumental in building a school in Guatemala, and we've had a chance to give back in ways that I never would have been able to if I stayed in the comfort of my box. But I continue to build my business, but I also got into coaching and transformational coaching and teaching startup entrepreneurs. I went back to school for metaphysical psychology. And as I was working with these incredible people I noticed all of these limiting beliefs that just kept coming up. And I can't even tell you how many times I said, if I could take my eyeballs out of my head and pop them into yours so you see you the way I see you, there wouldn't be this fear and limitation holding you back. But when I realized there's something missing in my modalities, I chose to continue my education and became a rapid transformational hypnotic therapist to work with the subconscious mind. So I
Wow.
started to be able to work with talk therapy, the psychology, mindset, wellness, and presence, but also rewiring the subconscious mind. In the meantime, while I was a mom and traveling and a philanthropist and building businesses, I was also a primary caregiver for my mom. My mom got really ill rapidly, about 58 years old. And many times they said, this is it. Like, come in, just make sure you've said everything you want to say. And the gift was that I was given 10 years of that,
Wow.
in and out and up and down. And in the meantime, my extended family, this caused a lot of anxiety, PTSD, and panic attacks in my extended family. And I was doing okay. I was very, very busy. I was very focused. And I was enjoying those moments with my mom. And she did pass at 68 years old. And I knew I would grieve. I knew it would be hard. And I was holding it together, within the grieving process for everyone else. But in the
Mm.
privacy of my own personal thoughts, and when I was all by myself, and I wasn't a mom, I wasn't a coach, I wasn't in entrepreneurship, I wasn't in the wife box, I was just me, I was struggling with functional depression. I had trouble sleeping. My hands were going numb. My heart was palpitating. And I was having panic attacks. And I couldn't figure out anything that was working from my toolkit. So I was a
Mm.
bit ashamed. When you're in this field and you are the person people go to, it can be tricky when you feel a bit like a fraud
Yeah.
when you're all by yourself and you're not doing it. But I do believe that things happen for us. And when the student is ready, the teacher comes. And that's when met Brian Kelly online, virtually. He is the founder of 9D Breathwork and the founder of the Breath Masters course. And I read what he said, I listened to what he said. It aligned. Now, I had done breath work, and meditation and mindfulness was very much a part of my life. But conscious, connected, active, somatic breathwork journeys, something I didn't know. It was brand new to me. But when I read the science and I checked in with myself, I thought, I'm going to try this. And I went all in and I surrendered. And you've done breath work before. When you
Yes.
go all in and you surrender to the power and wisdom of your breath with a trusted facilitator to be able to help you unearth what is no longer serving you, well, on the other side of 90 minutes, I was a different person. I had full understanding that every difficult part of my journey up until that point had happened for me. So I could know the power of this modality.
Mm.
I didn't realize how angry I was. That was 100% in my subconscious mind. I didn't realize how depressed and disappointed I was of all the things my mom and I would never do and she would never see. And we were able to, through this breathwork journey, unearth it, repattern my thoughts about it. I really feel I had a non ordinary state. I can't scientifically back this, but as a spiritual woman who feels I'm very much divinely guided, I feel I had a conversation with mom, and she said, the world needs this. And you needed to know that in your contrast, you can find clarity through the power of breath. And so on the other side of that journey, I thought, this changed me. I am at peace. I am regulated. I am happy. I've literally taken the grip of grief off. Now, yes, I still am saddened by all of that, but I didn't have to talk about it. I didn't relive any of it, but I felt this new sense of peace. And at that point, I decided I would dedicate the rest of my life to learning this modality and sharing this modality authentically and helping others heal and realize that life happens for us and we don't have to stay in that pain, and we can find that optimization and that expansion. So that's my journey. One door closes, one door opens,
I
and
love
all
it.
feels
I
natural.
love your story. I was a teacher too. I taught art for 15 years. And so because I've also been in the system, I know how the cap is, I know the boxes, I know the limitations. And yeah, it becomes really frustrating for someone who really loves to teach or loves to teach a specific subject and then having all of this can't. And then you feel like, what am I doing here? Like, and I also know a lot of ex-colleagues who feel trapped, like, like you did, like, well, I love what I'm doing, but this is the cap. I know there's something better, but, and they are so afraid to take a chance on themselves because this is the quote unquote security, right? It's the paycheck, it's the health benefits, it's whatever they give you, right? And the tenure, and as if it's like a really great thing to have, which for a lot of people, they believe it is. But I feel that it holds people prisoners of their own destiny because it's like you wanted to do something different. You had big dreams and you realize this is not going to cut it for me. So you took that chance on you, and then that led you to the next chance, and then that led you to the next thing. Um, and you know your life has completely changed, and I just feel that that's very courageous. I love that you're telling the story because there's so many people I feel are in your position, like the one, like here I am in my nice cushy job, and they're not taking that chance because they feel like at least I have this and this is secure, right? And it makes it's such a scary thing to take that step out of the box, um to try something new and then see that whether it's going to work or not, right?
Big mentor of mine is Robin Sharma, and I had a chance to actually be trained by him and do a lock-in situation where it was like a full immersion. But I remember him saying, anything in the beginning is uncomfortable, and in the middle, it's messy, but it's gorgeous on the other side.
Mm.
The reason I say this is I can't even tell you how many times I have said that to myself. Remember, anything in the beginning is uncomfortable. I've never done it before. Of course, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be messy as I'm learning. But if you just continue to work from that guided inspiration and take that action,
Mhm.
it will be gorgeous on the other side. So I think it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy if you train your brain to think that way and surround yourself by other courageous people.
Yeah, and also like just taking a moment, right? Taking a moment to think back of all the things that anyone has ever done and the times where they've taken a chance on themselves and how it worked out. And just becoming aware that, oh, actually, I've done something like this before, or I've done something similar to what I want to do now. And giving themselves um, that sense of security, like, I've done it before. Why am I forgetting it? Why am I forgetting that I couldn't do it? And maybe I can take this chance on myself now. I love that. Okay, so I am very curious for you to tell us more about what this 9D breathwork, is that what it's called? That you are teaching now, because this is my first time hearing about it. I did conscious connected breathing. I've done different type of breath work that I don't remember the names, but this one I had not heard of. So please tell us more about this because it feels like it's very different and a lot more powerful, and I actually can't wait to try it.
I'm so excited to share it with you. So, as a transformational breath master, what I do is I take people from where they are and how they're feeling to where they want to be and how they want to feel. And the through line of everything I do is using breath to start. I use and teach particular breath patterns to create a particular state in the physiology of the body. First and foremost, we want to make the body feel safe.
Yeah.
Most people are chronically in fight, flight, freeze, the sympathetic nervous system. So I'd like to start just by teaching people how to use their breath in one breath as a superpower, because most people are tense and anxious and they don't even realize the tension they're holding in their body. So I'd like to take people out of that chronic fight, flight, freeze and put them into rest, digest, and heal. And we can do that just by taking a deep breath in through the nose and expanding the belly. Most people breathe in through the mouth and they pull the belly in when they inhale. It's actually the opposite what we need. So if we all together could take a deep breath in on the count of 3, 2, 1, deep breath in through the nose, into the belly, and then relax and breathe out through the mouth, longer on the exhale, like you're breathing through a straw. I ask you to just observe what you felt there, because your heart rate went down, your blood pressure went down. And what I find fascinating is you have more blood flow to the prefrontal cortex. So your brain is now working better. So we can move out of the norm of reaction into simply responding, into being able to not have that brain fog, not feel exhausted, but feel grounded and be able to speak from that place where you have that creativity and you've got the calmness and you can have that problem solving ability. So just that one breath, that was one of the many, many breathwork patterns that I teach in order to help people feel calm in the body. Now, I also
I have some questions about it though. Can I
Sure.
just throw? Okay, so number one, we just did that one breath together and we felt a little bit calmer and the things that you just mentioned. If a person is more into the heated part, like let's say a kid upset and fighting or whatever, um, does the same breath work? And is one sufficient? Um, and then I have another question about, I'm just going to ask you now. Breathing out through your mouth as if you're doing it through a straw. Why is that different and why does that help more than just breathing out through your mouth without making it like you're, you know, breathing out through a straw? Okay, those are my questions.
Excellent. So the first question was, if people are heated, especially kids, and I do work with kids, I work with the school system as well, using 9D breath work for so many reasons. But let's just say somebody is very heated, adult or child.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that one breath in through the nose, into the belly, and the long breath out through the mouth can help regulate and can help ground. All right. Because what we're doing is we're taking a pause. It's like a pattern interrupt. So
Mm-hmm.
you're taking a pause and we are literally changing the physiology in the body. However, we all know if we're super heated, especially kids, but also adults as well, changing the state in the body through movement. So I'm just going to say it is a 3-year-old child who's having a tantrum. There is no clarity in the brain right now. What I get them to do is march with their arms moving, their legs moving. We're using big muscle movement. Move the body, march, march, and then pretend you're blowing out the candles on a cake. March, 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 even 3, and they will be different. We've done a pattern interrupt.
I love
So
that.
we are oxygenating the body with the blood moving. We are moving the body. We're changing the physical state. And then we're using the breath, really using that belly breath, and it's a long breath out. The long breath out puts you into the parasympathetic nervous system, rest, digest, heal.
Mm.
So when we as adults, I think we can kind of get the adrenaline's going, the cortisol is rising. Sometimes we just need to move the body, put a song on, dance a little bit, breathe out through the mouth, and then maybe come back to that in through the nose, longer on the exhale. Now, why do I get you to purse your lips? When you
Yeah.
purse your lips and breathe out, it makes a vibration. When you make that vibration, much like humming or singing. It stimulates the vagus nerve. The
Mm.
vagus nerve is the largest nerve in the body. It goes from the brain to every organ in the body, and its function is to help the body feel safe. So that's one of the reasons why I have that one in particular. Did that answer
Awesome.
your questions?
Yes, thank you. Okay, go ahead
So
now.
when it comes to 9D breath work, so first and foremost, breath work, the breath is the medicine. The
Mhm.
breath ignites the wisdom, somatic healing, soma, in the body. It ignites that wisdom in the body to be able to let go of what you no longer need. The body is so intelligent. And most people, when they're not feeling good, they think, I got to go and change my mind. I'm just going to really focus. I'm just going to really think positively, or I'm just going to get really disciplined. But until your body is safe, the mind can't follow. But the moment you change the state in the body, then I get to work with the psychology of the mind, and you get rapid results. When people do a session with me, I have had so many say, like, that one session is like 10 years of therapy. And I am all for therapy. Absolutely. This is in addition to, but if you don't want to have to talk about it and you want to see rapid results, when you change the state in the body and can move into the psychology of the mind with the extraordinary soundscape that we use with 9D breathwork, that's where people see massive optimization and results quickly. So 9D, if you think of the 9, and the D is for dimension. So the first dimension, the first layer we're working with is the breath pattern, number one priority. Then, while you're breathing, you have a soundscape that has what they call binaural beats.
Mhm.
Binaural beats are particular beats that slow down the brain waves in the body. So your body just feels calm. We also use particular frequencies in the music. Much of what we use is 432 hertz to put the body at homeostasis. So again, you're not thinking, you're not moving and pushing to get your body there. You're just listening and breathing. And these three layers are already bringing calm into the body. So people drop into a meditative state. A lot of people who say, I can't quiet my mind, I can't do shavasana in yoga, I can't meditate. A lot of people say that, but when they put the headphones on, they let the music, the guided coaching, the breath, the frequencies, and the subliminal messaging all in there. All of this is happening, and you don't know where the sound's going to come from. So it's stereo sound. So there's so much happening. I like to call it mind candy, and it's fun. You had said there's some resistance. Part of
Yeah.
what the resistance can be, there's many layers to this, is breath work is work. You're going to put your body in a state of discomfort. The first 10 minutes of a somatic journey, the ego is so loud. I have better things to do. This isn't going to work. I forgot to get the milk at the grocery store. I have to pick up my child. I had a fight with my sister. Whatever it is going to try to keep you away from transformation, away from moving out of the familiar into something new. So when the mind is very busy and the body is safe, and then we've activated the body through conscious, connected, active breathing, where, and I guide the whole way through, but we're actually intentionally putting people into fight, flight, freeze, but for a short amount of time.
Mhm.
And I turn out the lights. We actually down regulate again. But why do we do that? This is really cool. We activate. It's usually a two-part belly breath, in through the mouth, longer on the inhale, rather than what I showed you earlier, which was longer on the exhale.
Mhm.
So into the belly, into the chest, relax and let go. Into the belly, into the chest, relax and let go. If you were breathing along with me, or you try this after, even in 5 breaths, you feel a bit tingly, you feel a little bit lightheaded, you feel active, you feel heat in the body. That active breath work is better than a cup of coffee if you want alert, focus. We have the sympathetic nervous system, fight, flight, freeze, because it helps us at times. It's just most people stay there all day long, so they don't give their bodies a chance to rest. But when you're activated, blood flow goes away from the brain. Blood goes into the major muscle groups. You get very, very focused. You can be very creative and you can get things done. So when people want to have courage, we activate them. We want them to feel that extra sense of, I can do this and follow through. And when the body feels activated and the mind feels open, then the innate sense of I can do this and take those actions to net the results happens. But when you're activated in a somatic breathwork journey and I'm guiding and probing, what happens is the beta brain, your conscious mind, which is only 5% of your brain power, quiets. Those are where the ruminating thoughts happen. Those are where our patterns that happen over and over that are keeping us right where we are, that's where that happens. So we quiet that and we get into 95% of the rest of the brain power, which is the subconscious mind. But you didn't have to think about doing it because the breath and the soundscape has allowed you to do that. So we can go in the subconscious, probe around in there. You don't relive anything, but the body extracts what's holding you back. We rewire limiting beliefs into positive optimization and powerful beliefs. And all of this is happening while you're relaxing and breathing. So that explains the difference of simply breath work, which is extremely powerful, with the addition of the soundscape. You put them together, and that's why you see incredible results.
I see that because I have done meditations with binary beats. I have done automatic writing using that. I've done the regular meditations. I've done guided breath work. I've done a lot of the different things. And yes, they're all very powerful and they all do work when you use them. But this is like putting all of it together, right? It's kind of like having all of the ingredients of a cake and they're all fabulous on their own. But when you put them together, you get this masterpiece. So it feels like, whoa, like I'm getting the whole big masterpiece here with this type of breath work. So I love that all of these different parts that we have had access to and we may know or may not know about, but we have tried and like, it works, but then that the resistance, right? This is the resistance of like, this work, I don't want to do it, right? Like,
The fastest way for me to be able to, and I'll offer this for your listeners as well, is I have a 7-minute cinematic trailer. If people go to my website and send me their email, automatically they will have a chance to just throw in a set of headphones. They're going to meet the founder of 9D Breathwork. He's going to explain it all in 7 minutes. It's really fun as well, but he takes each of the layers and you hear them and understand the science behind each of the layers. And then he puts a few layers together so you hear what that feels like. And it is a feel because it's experiential. And then by the end of that 7 minutes, you have it all together. And then you're like, I totally get this. I feel amazing. I haven't even done the breath work yet.
mhm.
So that if this aligns, they'll know. And then I also, if they sign into my website and sign up for my newsletter, they'll have a 5-minute 9D reset. So you were mentioning that you can't always have the time to be able to do a full
Uh-huh.
length journey, but 5 minutes in a day can completely change the optimization, the productivity, and your happiness and your health if you are to get into a breathwork practice. And I think on there, you also get a 7-minute morning routine, which of course includes breath work. So that's just Tabatha.online. If you'd like to experience and understand more and feel it, what 9D breathwork is.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah, I remember when I first started, I was introduced to breath work. I was doing conscious connected breathing, and it was a guided meditation, but it did include going back into like what had happened and working through things that so you do have to revisit. With this, you don't have to revisit or know that you're revisiting, which I really do like. And I was already feeling like that needs to be the next thing. Like, why are we still going back? But anyway, um, I do remember that about less than 2 weeks, but it was more than one, that I was working because I was still working as a teacher, and I was watching everything happen as if I was not there, as if I was outside. And I was watching all the chaos and the fires and the stress that everyone was going through, and it was no longer affecting me. And I was like, this is interesting. Like, I'm not being triggered by the problems anymore. And I started feeling this way. And that's one of the reasons that I started also teaching, what I do, because I felt like, how does that work? Like, nothing has changed except me.
Mhm.
So I do see the benefit of it, and I'm just saying this for anyone who's coming here and has never heard of breathwork or done it or tried. Like, I'm just telling you my experience that it has worked in that level, that like, you change, your perspective changes, you have this calm come over you, things start to happen for you. I remember, like, every year at the beginning of the school year as a teacher, they would change the schedule, right? It's like, here's your schedule. And then you go and you work on it. And then it's like 2 days later when you're done the work, oh, sorry. And now you have to redo everything. And it's like, it's frustrating as a teacher because you have so little time. And it's like, now I have to do the work again. And I could have used that time for something else. And it's like that whole frustrating feeling of like, can you guys get it together so I can get going type of thing. And this was happening during this time as well. And I remember that I was given something and I was like, I'm not going to worry about that. And I didn't. And then the next day, my colleagues came and said, we figured out the schedule, and they gave it to me. And I was like, wow, like, I didn't have to do anything. They did it for me. And I was just like in this space of like, wow, like, how does that work? Like, I didn't worry, and like, I didn't do anything. And here's in my lap, it's just happening. And things like that. A lot of, I mean, I just remember that one, but a lot of things like that started happening for me as I continued the breathwork practice. And that was just that one thing. Like, so I can't imagine how going into this 9D breath work that you're teaching and guiding people through their own transformations, how much faster they're going to get results, how much lighter they're going to feel, and how much more magic they're going to see in their life, because that's what I call it. I was like, that's magical.
So I'd like to explain some of the neuroscience behind the magic that you were
Yes.
experiencing, because essentially you could call it, I
Mhm.
was manifesting these
Yeah.
things I wanted. First and foremost, when your system is regulated, we mirror breathing patterns. So when you're regulated, the kids around you are going to be regulated, the your colleagues are going to be regulated, and when they're regulated, there's less chaos and more blood flow to the brain to be able to make really good aligned decisions. So that's the first part of it. The second part of it is when you're regulated and you feel safe and you've got clarity in the psychology in the mind, your thoughts become a self-fulfilling prophecy because your thoughts are filtered by something called the reticular activating system, your RAS system in the brain. And will have your audience do a little experiment with us, because I wish this was, it needs to be taught in schools. If people
Yeah.
realized the power of a regulated system, as well as the power of the thoughts they have in creating the results they want in life, then people would really be much more mindful about their thoughts. So I'll just have you play with me. If
Yeah,
you'll
let's
look
do it.
around the room, I'd love for you to look around the room, and I want you to count up as many blue things as possible.
Hmm.
Count blue things, as many blue. Blue is really important. Anything in the family of blue, you're counting up all of the blue things. You're looking specifically for the color blue. Have you got some blue things around you?
I'm up to 21 already, and I've only
Okay,
done half the group.
perfect, perfect. And I hope your listeners at home have them as well. Will you close your eyes for me for a second? How many red things can you recall?
Three.
So you had 21 blue and 3 red. Can you open your eyes and take a look and very quickly count up the red things that you see? How many do you see? Are there a lot more than
10.
blue? Yeah. And that's because we programmed your brain to realize that blue was important. So, how you program your brain is by repetition, by clarity, by focus, with emotion. So I was like, blue is really important. Anything in the family of blue is important. So your brain started to block out everything else, and that goes into your subconscious mind. So you can imagine if you say to yourself, I'm so tired, I'm broke, I never do anything right, I don't like the way I look in clothes, nothing goes my way. And these are thoughts because negative bias is so prevalent out there because people buy from pain points. So
Mm-hmm.
we are primed all day long. And for so many other reasons, we can be really hard on ourselves. So when you're regulated and you feel safe, and you start to have positive thoughts in your mind, your brain goes to find more things to be positive about. But if you had those negative ones, your brain goes and proves to yourself all day long that those thoughts you had were accurate. So that's why your thoughts, because you had clarity, you were creating more of those things you wanted. And a regulated nervous system, you were helping others around you feel at ease. Did that give you a little insight? It is
Yeah.
magic. I like to say it's magic, but it's also based in neuroscience.
Yes, I love that. It's kind of like Joe Dispenza, right? He has all of the magic happening and then he explains it all with the science. So I love the way he explains everything because anyone that is not as easily wowed by the magic and they're looking for the, well, how does that work? You know, like you have that part to understand it and be like, okay, maybe I'll give it a chance. It's not so woo-woo. I love that. Awesome. So, tell me a little bit more about when you started using this 9D breath work, and you found like, I'm a different person. I need to teach this. W- did you feel that like right from the beginning, or were you working at it or learning how to do it? Like, how did that part come about for you?
Within one session, my body was different. My mind, it felt more aligned within one session. But then it's like peeling back an onion in any transformation, in any sense of evolution. So, because I was curious, the moment I'm curious, I know that's my guiding system. Say, lean in, lean in. And because it's like taking a shower, you can't just take a shower and feel fresh and clean for days and days and days.
Hmm.
You do have to go back and take a shower. I went back and learned different breathwork practices in order to optimize different parts of my life.
Mm.
Continue to work with the 9D breathwork journeys and create my own breathwork journeys for people. But I have an entire library. If you're looking to optimize when it comes to sports or business or heal the mother wound or understand the 5 primary trauma imprints that we all have, or cellular regeneration, like you name it, we have a journey for it. And I just started to use them with clients and see the magic that was being created and the joy that was being produced. And I work every day on growing the understanding of what it is, but also using the breath work practices myself as well.
I love it. Do you usually practice this breath work every day, or like what's your what's how often do you do it?
So, the biggest thing is to become consciously aware that your brain changes how your body feels and how your brain works. So, I now consciously become aware of down regulating, turning the lights off, letting my body rest so that it can heal and feel calm and joy. So, I'm active with that in the morning. I say that active. I use down regulation just to make sure the body feels safe. But then, rather than a cup of coffee, I have my water. It's not that I'm against coffee, but
Hmm.
I do 10 active breath uh, patterns and then a breath hold. and then a sigh. And it's
Mm.
just like activating. It's like waking up the body, waking up the mind. I've got breath in my lungs. I'm honoring it. But then, if there's something in particular, if I'm a little bit nervous about something or I want to build that courage, then I go and I might do a 15-minute somatic breathwork journey. But then, to make sure I'm really optimizing, I do a full length somatic journey every 2 weeks. Every two
Thank
weeks.
you. That's
Mhm.
amazing. What kind of things can people find relief from by using blood breath work?
I am really known to help people with anxiety, overwhelm, panic, and burnout. I work with a lot of high achievers. That's what you can help those who you were.
Yeah.
And a high achieving woman, on the outside had it all together. On the inside, there were times where I was like, I don't know how I'm keeping it together. I don't know how I'm going to take another step. So I help with anxiety, panic, burnout, overwhelm for sure, but I also use breathing through grief and loss. I help a lot of people through that. And that could be the loss of a person, it could be loss of an identity, a loss of a job, a loss of a pet. There are so many reasons people come to me for that particular journey. Cellular regeneration, I work with a lot of people with ailments, and we are coming back to that perfect health, that regeneration, the positive mindset. I work with a lot of people in addictions. Addiction, everybody's got an addiction of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Some are prevalent, whether it be substance abuse, whether it be gaming, Netflix, shopping, pornography, like for all different reasons. And it's trusted. Like, there's no judgment. We all have our stuff because of what has happened to us and what has happened to our parents. And we've all been doing the best we can, but we don't have to stay where we are if that's not where we want to be. And I work with men, women, children. Most of my work is done online. I do a somatic breathwork journey every Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time every week. So there's always something, no matter where you are in the world, from the comfort of your home. You can put a set of headphones on, lie down on the floor, the mat, a couch, and you can do this work. And then I have an in-person studio, but I work with clinics, I work with corporates. Uh, Mitigating stress, anxiety, and burnout is my number one asked for workshop. And we use 9D breath work throughout. But I give really tangible tools for everyday people to feel safe in their body, to feel calm, regulated, and healthier, which of course just optimizes for companies. And then
Yeah.
some people, some companies put me on retainer as well to be able to work with their staff. So I can work the personal end to help people get back so they can get back to work and leave work for the work people.
Amazing. You also wrote a book.
I
Tell us a
have.
little bit about that.
It's called Ordinary to Extraordinary, an inspired guide to living the life of your dreams. And it's really autobiographical. I'm very raw, very real. I wrote it about 10 years ago, but the tools are very, very practical. And it's a workbook, and you work through it, and you're different on the other end. If you actually put the tools into action, there will be joy, there will be boundaries, there will be clarity, and you'll see results. And you get to the end of the book, and you could pick it up and reopen and start again and take your life to the next level. I always help people realize, be so grateful for all that you have and all that you are, but let's get really eager and excited and have a plan to take inspired action to move life to the next level. And that's what that book does. In
Inspired
my
action.
program, in my program, it's a self-paced program. It's from burnout to brilliance. And it's 28 sessions that you can go over and over and over. Basically, it has a mindset tool. It has a breathwork practice. We do 9D breathwork, and then we do a meditation with breathwork to lock it all in. And it has many of the tools that I offer in the book, but it's done on video. And then now, because I found 9D breathwork 3 years ago, it's like integrating the two together.
I love that. I love how your whole journey has taken you from one place to the other and always expanding, getting to the next level of like how to do things better and reaching more people. I love that story. Is there anything I didn't ask you about that you would like to share before we go?
Oh, you've done such a good job at allowing me to really fully explain and great questions. And I love your honesty about the resistance with it. And I just want people to know it's a safe modality. It's not something to be afraid of. And when you do lean in, and I ask you to surrender, I always say push to the edge, not past the edge, but push to the edge to see the power of this medicine. And sometimes you feel tingling, sometimes you spontaneously start crying, sometimes you start laughing, sometimes sounds come out of the body, and all of that is welcome. And on the other side, people feel lighter and more expansive and very much healed. So even though it feels a little strange, I would say give it a go. You really have nothing to lose. You are 100% in control at all times. You can always put your foot more on the gas, breathe a little faster, a little bit deeper, or put your foot on the brake, pump the brakes, breathe in through the nose, longer on the exhale. It's not like you have no control over what you're doing. You very much have control over it. And you don't know how amazing you can feel on the other side unless you try it. I always offer a 30-minute complimentary consultation if somebody is apprehensive and or if they have questions or if they have medical contradictions, contraindications. I'm happy to answer those questions and make sure they feel fully uh, safe and at ease, and that they can trust that this is a safe place for you to go and explore. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember when I first started that I my coach at the time was like it was a 30-minute breath work and I was like I don't have 30 minutes. And she just took a step back and she's like if you want it, you have to. And I had to make that decision. I had to make the decision of doing it. And I also remember, and I've told this to my audience before, that the first week was tough because I had a toddler, or maybe he was a little bit older than a toddler, who wanted mommy all the time. And I didn't have the time. And, I was like, I'm going to meditate. And it's like crying outside, trying to knock, and all of these distractions. And I just kept at it. And I remember that by like the fourth day, it was a lot calmer outside. They started learning how to deal without mommy for 30 minutes, right? Which is a big deal when you're the one who takes care of everything, right? With your kids and at home. And then by the end of the week, I was able to do it. And my ego was still going like, do I hear something? Do they need me? All of that. But then after that, after I got through that first week, I was able to really drop in and let go. And I tell this story because it's not easy and it doesn't happen right away. And 30 minutes of commitment when you have done nothing might seem like a lot, but you have to choose it. You have to choose, like, I want something new. I want something different. Let me give myself a try. Let me see if this helps me do something and that's the other thing. I had no idea what it was going to do for me. I didn't know why I was doing it. I was just following the directions and I was like, okay, I don't know what this has to do with anything. you know like I went in with that attitude, but I was still doing it. So yeah, go ahead.
My favorite part about that story is you can't give from an empty cup. And especially we as moms, we do that. We keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Monkey see, monkey do.
Yes.
Your kids are always watching. And when you take the time to look after you, they realize it's important for me to look after me too. And now I can tell you with a 26-year-old and a 23-year-old, and they both run big businesses, and there is a lot of life tension and stress and relationships. But because they saw me get out on that skinny branch and do new courageous things, they saw me look after myself and my health. They now will reach to me. They have breathwork recordings, of course, but they will do them. And I've even seen them recommend this to their people in their worlds. And one has even asked his employees to work with me so they can be regulated and more productive and happier overall. So I love that story because, yes, for you, I'm thrilled, but it's the next generation that is watching and can be more regulated. We have to do something. We have to do something to prepare our children for the world that they live in. So I honor you as a mom.
Thank you. And thank you for your story. I do love that about your kids as well, taking that, watching you and then doing their own thing as well. And it's just so powerful. Such a powerful story. Thank you. Well, thank you so much. You gave us some of the places to go find you. I'm going to put all your information in the notes. So if you missed it, just go look in the notes to where to find her. But if you want to mention it again, like where to find you, go ahead.
I love to play on Instagram. Now, 52-year-old woman, I'm still learning the social media game, but I'm very honest. I give a lot of regulation and mindset tips, and you can learn a little bit more about me and my whole life on Instagram at Tabatha DeBruyn. If you just want to follow me for nervous system regulation techniques, it's at Tab Collective. And my website is Tabatha, TABATHA.online. And I encourage you to reach out, book a complimentary session. And if you sign up for my newsletter, you'll get those freebies as well.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely go and sign that up for the freebies and try it out and get some more information if this is speaking with you. Well, thank you for being here, Tabitha. I've really enjoyed our conversation. This has been great.
It's been an honor. Thank you.
And with that, people, if you find value in this, please share, like, comment, all the things, because that is how more people are able to find the podcast and find the information. So I love you, and I will talk to you next time. Bye bye.